The storm raged through the dense forest, rain lashing against the windshield of Jack's old pickup truck. The wipers struggled to keep up as he gripped the wheel, his eyes fixed on the winding road ahead. Beside him, his loyal companion, a massive black wolf named Ghost, sat alert, his golden eyes flickering in the dim light. Jack had found Ghost as a pup, abandoned and injured, deep in the mountains where he lived. Over the years, their bond had grown unbreakable. To Jack, Ghost wasn't just an animal, he was family. But tonight, fate had other plans. As Jack rounded a sharp curve, the tires skidded on the slick pavement. His hands jerked the wheel, but it was too late. Bam! The truck slammed into a tree. The impact threw Jack forward, his head striking the steering wheel before everything went black. Ghost whimpered, nudging his owner's face, but Jack didn't move. The wolf let out a mournful howl before bounding into the darkness, disappearing into the storm. A silent visitor. Jack woke to the beeping of machines and the smell of antiseptic. A dim hospital light flickered above him. His body ached, his head throbbed, and his leg was wrapped in heavy bandages. A nurse adjusted his foredrip, offering a polite smile. "You're lucky to be alive," she said. "A passerby found your wreck and called it in. You were unconscious for hours." Jack's mind was foggy, but one thought broke through the haze. Ghost. His lips parted. "My wolf, where?" Before he could finish, a deep thudding sound echoed through the hallway. A scratch. Then another. The nurse turned, startled. What was that? Jack knew before he even saw Ghost. The massive wolf stood outside the glass hospital door, rainwater dripping from his thick fur. His golden eyes never left Jack. He was waiting. Watching. The nurse hesitated. "Is that a real wolf?" Jack managed a weak smile. "He's mine." The nurse exchanged nervous glances with a doctor entering the room, Dr. Evans, a man in his 50s with sharp eyes and a clinical demeanor. He barely spared the wolf a glance. "Wolves don't belong in hospitals," Evans muttered. "That thing shouldn't be here." Ghost let out a low growl. Jack frowned. Ghost had never growled at someone without reason. He had always been calm, protective, but never hostile. Something wasn't right. The wolf's warning that night. The hospital was eerily quiet. The soft hum of machines filled the air as Jack drifted in and out of sleep. But Ghost, still outside, never moved. Then, around midnight, something changed. Ghost's ears twitched. His nose lifted, sniffing the air. Then, his body tensed. Inside, Jack stirred, his half-lidded eyes catching movement near his bed. A shadow loomed over him. Dr. Evans. Jack barely registered the man holding a syringe, his face devoid of expression. His hand moved toward Jack's forearm, but before the needle could pierce the tube, bang. The hospital door slammed open, and Ghost lunged. The doctor barely had time to react before the massive wolf snapped his jaws inches from his hand. Evans staggered back, the syringe clattering to the floor. Ghost stood protectively over Jack, his golden eyes burning with rage. His lips curled, revealing sharp teeth, his growl low and deadly. The commotion brought the nurse rushing in. "What's happening?" she gasped. Ghost barked sharply, his gaze flicking toward the syringe. The nurse hesitated, then picked it up. Her face paled. "Dr. Evans, this isn't a painkiller. It's..." Her breath hitched. "This would have killed him." Jack's eyes widened. "Killed him?" Evans' expression darkened. "That's nonsense." He scoffed, trying to push past her. "The wolf startled me. That's all." But Ghost didn't move. He stood firm, his instincts screaming that this man was a threat. Jack's mind raced. If Ghost hadn't stopped him, would he have been dead by morning? The truth unfolds. The police arrived within minutes. The nurse handed over the syringe, her hands shaking. "It's a lethal dose," she whispered. Dr. Evans tried to kill him. Jack's stomach twisted. Why? The answer came soon enough. Investigators found that Evans had been secretly euthanizing patients for years, covering up his crimes as unexpected complications. Jack, alone, with no family, had been his next target, but he hadn't expected a wolf to watch over him. A wolf's justice. A week later, Jack sat in his hospital bed, his strength returning. Ghost lay curled at his feet, his massive body relaxed for the first time in days. The news had spread like wildfire. A wolf saves his owner from a killer doctor. People were calling Ghost a hero. Jack chuckled, scratching behind Ghost's ears. You always knew who to trust, huh? Ghost licked his hand, his golden eyes filled with quiet understanding. Sometimes, the most loyal protectors weren't human, and sometimes, a wolf's instincts could see the truth before anyone else could.